Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Creative Corner podcast. Now, it's an exciting one. We are five episodes. I have to get this. I have to look at him every single time and go, is it? So we are back with number 5, and it's an exciting one because we have our first guest, and we won't keep you waiting much longer. We will introduce him in a second, but we just want to say, if you are back here, thank you very much for watching all 4 episodes. And if you're here for the first time, we hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment as to what you think of the podcast, and we'll dive right into it. And if you're new, my name's Callum.
I'm Sam.
And we have our guest. Hello, Luke.
I'm just going to say Luke Beastall. Yeah, I might as well just introduce my full name, to be fair.
So Luke is someone that I was thinking about. So I've known you for nearly 6 years now.
Yeah.
And rather than going into like me telling your backstory, because obviously you've come like from what you're doing now to what you were doing when I first met you is like worlds apart. But there is the sort of creation of the brand and the company and all that behind it. So what I want to say is, can you just describe what you do kind of now, what your business is aimed at, and then we'll kind of go through the evolution of where that came from, the pitfalls, what worked, what didn't work, and all that sort of stuff. So kind of like, what's your day-to-day looking like at the moment?
Yeah, I think you, Sam, could actually say it better than me, mate, in terms of the evolution, because obviously you followed us for a while. But no, just in terms of what I do right now, it's interesting because I was talking about this just before we recorded. It's a question that I get asked a lot where, Luke, what is it that you do now? Because obviously I've been doing what I've been doing for like 9 years.
So long, yeah.
Yeah, so for me now, I basically build dream lives and dream businesses. So depending on the person, they might want the more life kind of coaching, if you want to call it. But then on the other side, they might want business side. So they might want to grow a business, or they want to integrate both. So that's pretty much what I do.
And people might think, hang on, this guy's like developing business and he's like, why is he on effectively a creative podcast? But people, I don't think, realise that creating a business or starting a business, you've got to have that creative spark in you because...
Well, I think you've said it there, the clues in the title, like you're creating something.
And and it goes more than just, I think so many people sort of go, I'm starting a business, and they get way too excited, starting an Instagram page, getting some branded merch and go, I've got a business.
I've got an accountant now.
This is it, there's so much infrastructure behind it. And it's quite daunting when you actually realise the scale of not just when you are kind of a one-man band. Obviously, your brand was well established years ago, wasn't it? So obviously, originally it was Muscle Coach.
Yes.
So for people that don't know, obviously I know because I spoke to Luke about it in the past, but like, where did Muscle Coach come from?
So the name itself is actually, it says it, don't it? Muscle Coach. Yeah. So for me, I was somebody that when I played football, the biggest aspirations for me was I wanted to look like Cristiano Ronaldo. I wanted the muscles. I wanted the 6-pack. I felt very much of I kind of got the fat, the chubby kid, even though I really weren't, obviously, but that was kind of the stigma around it. So for me, because I had personal trainers myself, the thing I used to say to them is, what's your goal? And I'd go, I want to build muscle. But I always struggled. I don't know what it was. I think it was obviously mainly the nutrition. I did struggle with that. Yeah. But then I come up with a name, and at the time, Body Coach, obviously everyone knows the Body Coach, Joe Wicks. Yeah. He was just somebody I followed. And, when he used to put his head out the window and have all the dishes and all that stuff. So I thought, that sounds pretty good, the Body Coach. I'm thinking, but I want to build muscle, so I'm going to call myself the Muscle Coach. Yeah. So then I just got the name. I looked at the business, obviously trademarked it and stuff, and I thought, there's only a supplement company from Australia called Muscle Coach. So I thought, it's not a business, so there you go. And I got the name, but I kind of parked it back in 2015 when I got qualified, and then I just went out on cruise ships. But that's where it all started, and I called it that because of that reason.
So did the brand fully kick in when you became the personal trainer in Sutton? Because I know obviously there was the previous that there was the football career and all that sort of stuff. So when you actually fully dived into one-to-one personal training in Sutton, is that when Muscle Coach, did you go in there as Muscle Coach, or was it?
Yeah, so I've shared this only with very few people, but I had actually never ever conducted a personal training session until I actually got back on land. I mean, I did it on cruise ships, but it was very much like I was following somebody else's plan. So I had to go and create that plan. And that was back in, when the gym opened, actually, in Sutton, Ashfield, which was August 2018.
Don't you find it mad, though, is when, because obviously we've all done, you've done one-to-one PT, haven't you?
Yeah, I did one-to-one.
Don't you think it's mad, though?
House visits as well. That was crazy.
I can imagine.
So when you do, like, your first PT sessions, I started PT people in my garage that I converted.
I can remember.
And I spent so much money on doing that. Yeah. But like, I look back now and I cringe at the sessions I was putting on in relation to what I do now. And I always remember because I was so overly prepared for all my sessions. I used to sit down at the start of the week. I knew all my clients coming in, and I pre-planned every single session with every single client. And I was like, I couldn't possibly do a session without having it written down.
Having the plan.
And then I remember I got booked actually for, as a birthday present, PT session, one-to-one session with you.
You did.
And then and then I came in and you were like,
Throwback.
So what you training? And I went, I was going to do like pull. And you went, let's just do pull then. And I was like, what, you're just going to do a session off the top of your head? And you were like, yeah, of course I am. And I was like, that's mental. And now, I wouldn't even think twice about doing that. Someone goes, what we're training, push. Okay, cool, let's go do a push session. So like,
you can figure it out.
That different conversation, confidence thing. But so one thing I always found like amazing watching you like develop as you did, like because obviously when I qualified, I was very quickly trying to move into the world of online coaching. I had a massive sort of not an underappreciation, but I didn't realize the depth you have to go in for online coaching. I generally thought it was just a PT, but online you give you macros, give you calories, and you just off you go. I think then you realize you've got to dig a lot deeper, and you've got to like work with people on that human level. And I remember speaking to you about it, and at the time you were like, yeah, I'm not really sure it's for me. And because obviously you were stacked out one-to-one PT like 6-7 days a week, stacked out. And then suddenly you went, I'm doing online coaching now. I was like, oh, that's a gear shift. And then that was kind of the start of the evolution of where Muscle Coach has gone and what like Master Your Time has become. What was your driver behind that switch?
Well, I'll share that just in a second, but I want to go back to that point where you had that personal training session with me. So where you just basically said about, I just said I wanted to do pull. Well, it's creative, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got the experience, but also it's creating a session on the spot and being adaptable.
Of course, yeah.
But also at the same time, it's making it fun for the other person on the other side, because if I'm there making a plan, a rigid template, then you might go, I'll follow it anyway, but maybe you just might go,
it's not as fun, where you can kind of gauge your audience a little bit better, can't you? With taking it off the top of the head. If you've got that super set that's not going to work, you change it. And it's the same as when we film or do the podcast. If we're talking about something we don't feel it, we change it. Right? So to have a strict plan, I think it kills creativity.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it does.
There's having like framework for stuff, but then there's actually like with a pull session, basically which group of muscles you're targeting, and then you just pick from the God knows how many exercises to hit that spot. And obviously you can do like if you're having someone with their brand new first session, you do a lot more basic. You maybe do more cable stuff, maybe less dumbbells. But you gauge as you're going the experience of that person. You know what you can do with them. So it is like that creative process happens within the session because you can constantly keep expanding and working on more complex movements. But so like when you did decide to go online, because obviously you and Abby went at the same time online, which is obviously a massive jump for the both of you. What was the driver? Because obviously you seemed so not sort of wedded, but you were so ingrained in one-to-one. Obviously you were a very well-established business, very successful business. You were in demand. So that must have been quite scary going, I kind of know what I want to do, but it's making that big decision to step away from a lot of, it's not, but at the time it was virtually guaranteed income because you had a very loyal client base. And taking that online, like you had to make peace with the fact that you were going to lose people. It's just the nature of it. So how did that kind of evolve?
Well, COVID changed my mindset of obviously in person. I mean, something can just strip your business away in an instant, So for me, at the time when I was still with Abby, I shouldn't be saying with Abby at the time. God, absolute dropping her in there, aren't I? But
should we cut that bit?
Just cut that bit out, please.
Just say the word fiance and we'll dub it over.
Literally. But she was working at a nursery at the time, so she had a regular income. She was waiting on this like furlough scheme at the time. Obviously for me, I sat there and was going, hold on a minute, my business has closed overnight. But what I realised is that I was kind of winding down from the 4:15 in the morning get-ups to the 8 o'clock nights, and I was doing 900-hour weeks to doing what, I was literally kind of praying for my clients to provide us with a level of income because I wasn't going to earn anything otherwise, because obviously everything was like, I had just like 10, I had block session retainers, everything like that. So what happened is I slowed down. So I was this chaotic, non-stop ball of energy, love what I do, obviously. And then COVID slowed me right down. And what it made me realize is that I was burnt out. And that at the same time, I was like, when things started opening up again, I was just resenting doing what I was doing before. Like I couldn't see myself going back to what I was doing before. So, all those hours of PT, I was thinking, I can't go back to that.
Yeah, I think it's when the norm changes, doesn't it? And then it's like, you've been so rush, and you gave yourself a little bit of space. And
that's big.
You didn't even give yourself that. Like COVID gave you that.
I had no choice.
Yeah, you literally had no choice. Someone's taken away for you to have that mental space.
Yeah.
And this is like creativity-wise is being able to pull yourself away and change your mindset. And in this instance with you, it was forced on you. But with other people, we like to say as well, like take a step back, have a little bit of a breathe, have a little bit of a thinking time, and it pushes to new heights and new businesses. And this is where the new business came in, was because of the headspace.
It was massively, yeah. I mean, just to kind of get to the point was I took so when obviously I proposed to Abby in 2022 June, we'd done a photo shoot prep together before that. Yeah. As you know, it's quite rigorous. You know, you're quite dedicated, you're disciplined to it. We had a 2 weeks break from the gym, so that was in August. Well, no, it was June till like July, basically middle of June till July. What I found was when I took again space away from the environment that I'd been in for almost 5 years, I realised that it didn't feel the same. So it's like I stepped away from it. Yeah. I had a great holiday. I had, such an amount of space to just wind down, chill out. Yeah. I didn't talk to any clients for 2 weeks. I said, I'm off grid. Yeah. Don't even talk to me. They respected that.
Of course.
So for me, again, because I didn't have any distraction, I got that space and that boundary. So when I walked back in the gym, I felt different. So when I started having conversations with clients, I mean, look, I love every client I've worked with, but I felt bored.
Yeah.
I know that sounds really bad, but I felt really bored. It was repeating the same conversation every hour. Yeah. I felt like because there was all my regular clients, I felt that I'd gotten to a point where technically they was paying me because they just enjoyed spending an hour with me. It wasn't because they was developing anymore. It wasn't because like they
didn't need any more information.
So it was, I was stagnant, and I'm somebody that loves to personally develop, i.e. be creative, be stretched, push a bit further. Yeah. And again, what I realized through this online journey, obviously I had a mentor and stuff like that, is, the biggest thing that I was lacking was energy. I was struggling with energy and time. I felt very stuck. Yeah.
I think I could resonate with that. I think a lot of people, we spoke about this in terms of me, but I've changed so much. Like I've tried to escape the 9 to 5 so many times. I've done my own businesses, been an online coach, done the PT, went into gym management, into travel, now into the media and creative side of things. So I completely understand of when you do give yourself a little bit of a break, and I'm sat at that office chair going, I am bored. Yeah. I'm saying hello to the same people, bye to the sing people, the same conversation. I need something new.
I think as well, one thing as well that people don't appreciate as well, like doing your PTing, like back to back to back to back, people are paying not just to be like basically like put through the paces. They're paying for your energy. They're paying for you to pick them up at the end of the day or send them off to work in a good mood. You can't afford to be down and sad and depressed. Regardless of what's happening in your life, you need to be the energy. So, and kind of faking that, if you're not in that headspace, is hard. It's hard doing it for 2 or 3 hours back to back, let alone if it's 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I've been through sort of like basically quite open. I've been through a divorce in the last like 18 months. And the day after that kind of situation arose, I was back in the gym at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah. 3 clients back to back.
Having to give the energy.
How are you?
and I'm asking them if they're okay. And I've had 2 hours sleep and there's all that stuff going off. And, they don't want to have me going, guess what happened to me last night? Because that's not what they're paying for. They're not paying to counsel me. So like,
no, but it's understandable.
It is, but obviously, if you're having to put your energy into that, I can see how when you've got the momentum of doing it day after day after day, you don't know you're doing it because you're just doing it. But the second you stop, it's so hard to rebuild that momentum. It's like when you've done, like, say, the photo shoot or you've done any kind of, I'd be interested to see how you feel about this. When you, like the endurance stuff, you spend so long focused on the target that when it stops and you need to give yourself a little bit of a break, how easy it starts again. Because obviously you've just done the big endurance event. How have you found getting back into exercise since? Have you got back into it quickly, or are you still kind of like working your way back into it slowly?
Yeah, I mean, I had a week off, obviously. I mean, flipping out, my body was battered when you run that distance. But even the build up to that was a lot of strain on the body. Yeah, I mean, I was out of the gym almost 2 weeks. It was nice again to have a break. And I've picked it back up. Because I had that break and I weren't straight back in, I got that buzz again, I'm not running, I mean, I've got an ultra in October, but I'm not obviously running the distance I was running my average weekly. has gone down, which is nice because
Luke's gone hybrid.
Yeah, well, there is a bit of that. But hybrid work lifestyle. Actually, this is like hybrid, isn't it? But yeah, hybrid lifestyle. God, that word, man, gets used in so many different ways.
Doesn't it?
It's like you're working on your laptop in a coffee shop. You're not hybrid. Mate, you're just working in Costa. Like, let's not try and get too.
What do you do? I'm hybrid. Yeah, but no, it's been pretty good for us.
That's cool. Yeah.
But again, having that goal.
How are you wearing that t-shirt? I am sweating.
It is warm in here. It's because that big bright light up
I know, we have got a big bright light.
It's not directly on me, but like you don't know what's happening under this shirt.
Yeah, don't take it.
Elbows tucked in at all times.
Sam's hiding.
Patches coming out.
Yeah, that's it.
So I decided to wear black.
Yeah, but for that, like we had to. The only reason I've worn this is quite jazzy.
Why? We're matching again.
Exactly.
Black as well.
We keep wearing the same clothes without. Like we both came in wearing green jumpers.
That's the memo.
I never wear green jumper, but we both wear the green jumper. So like now I thought, right, you definitely won't wear a mustard
black
shirt.
We just did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Then we had green top, green jumper. Now we've got white top,
exactly.
black.
So this is why. Yeah. It's not a brand.
When we talk about creativity, it stops at clothing. We wear two colours.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's it. It's just
that's why I've gone
but
off piece.
But you're creative with white and black. So
that's
all right.
It goes together, don't it?
Yeah.
But so,
go on.
So one of the things I really want to speak about, and I've never actually spoken to you about this, but it's something you've spoke about online.
Yes.
Is I remember. So when you went into the online coaching space, you really went. Obviously, you got your mentorship, and you did everything. For me, looking in properly, like you had like teams working for you, doing like marketing and sort of content creation.
Oh, let's get into that.
And I was like, oh God, like Luke's killing it. He's got all these resources. God, I wish I was in a position where I could do something like that. But then obviously speaking to you, probably it'd be maybe a good couple of years after it, maybe. You did say you did post about it online. You said that you didn't need all those people doing those things for you. Now, was it, obviously there's going to be the financial outlay.
Yeah.
But did you feel that having all those different almost hands in your sort of business as part, did you feel the message was being diluted? Did you feel you were losing control of it? Or was it just felt a bit too unstructured for you? Like what was your feeling and the reasons that you decided to get rid of the services that you were paying for that were running elements of your business?
Well, the main reason is it wasn't aligned with me. It had no authenticity. Obviously I'd come from doing, personal training. I had my brand. Obviously I had a team of coaches. They kind of obviously now gone their separate ways. Then obviously with me coming online, it was very rushed. So the launch, I share this, the launch of I say mine, it was mine and Abby's collective thing was 10 grand, right? And it was dead. It was dead. Like it went ghost town. Like, but the interest was amazing. And then when it got out, it was like Luke works with men, Abby works with women. But the reality is 50% of my client base were female. So they're questioning me going, so does that mean you're pushing me out? And I'm like, so what I mean is I was kind of, and this, again, being in the mentorship was very, it's like society in a way. I felt very conditioned. And then what they was obviously not advising, they was saying, you must, is have delegation. Delegation, build your team, do this. So what happened was obviously there's me making some good money going, actually, do you know what? I don't know what I'm doing with graphics, or I don't know what I'm doing with campaigns or whatever it is. So I'm going to delegate it. But the issue is how many are they working with? And the problem was at the time I didn't
just want to copy and paste.
Well, at the time I didn't see it, but you've got to. We understand as humans and being human focused and putting it around the person is that. How long does it actually take to really fully understand somebody? Doesn't take one call, does it?
No.
So I'm having one call with a graphic designer who's charging me $3,000. Right? And all right, it's great what he does, and he's got a full list of how many businesses. But what I'm saying is, it's like the mistake I made, because I can't put the blame on all of that. I mean, a lot of it can, but a lot of from me is I didn't actually know who I was, what coach I wanted to become, because I'd fell into a sales trap.
I guess there's a lesson there as well then. We're doing the same thing with this podcast right now. We don't have the information to know what's working and what isn't and what's good and who you are as a person. And like you said, to get to know someone takes a long time, right?
Of course.
So if you're pushing a business creative, like with the graphics, your logos and everything like that, and you're getting the message wrong from the get-go, it doesn't set up a good business, does it?
No.
So to have that information, like you said, you by trial and error, Sam likes to say fuck around and find out, is the epitome of it. You actually then get the information and go, no, this isn't me. Like, we're displaying this message in a different way. And that graphic designer on a 1 hour phone call cannot get that message.
No, and I think as well though, what I feel is there's a lack of this in business today is that people can't say no to people.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is like, let's say you're having a conversation with somebody and they are not the right fit for somebody you can help, you'll still say yeah and take it anyway.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, you know, if you're
back in your mind, you're like, oh.
So obviously you're somebody that's going, listen, I don't really know that, or graphic wise, it overwhelms me, or carousels, all these, you know, I don't know how to put it, like these words and terms that they use flying around the content world, it's very overwhelming. And when you're a business and all you're thinking about is, I want to build my client base, I want to get my client retention high, I don't want to have client high 1 month and then churn high, and you know, because it becomes a roller coaster. Yeah. So for me, going back to your like theme of the question is, I did it because I'm somebody who puts my trust in people probably too easily, and I've been burnt a lot. Yeah. But at the same time, it's all been a learning experience. So what I've learned is that obviously, delegation is great, but I would just say to anyone that's wanting to build a brand or build a business, just really get actually so clear on who you actually are as a person. Because let's put it this way, whenever you set up a business, you don't set up a business because it's, well, some people do, they set up for money alone. But if you really want a business to last, which I did with Muscle Coach, by the way, is I did it about actually, well, Muscle Coach was because I wanted to grow muscles. Yeah. So that's aligned to me. Yeah. That's my identity. And then guess what? I hired a coach to help me build muscle. Yeah. So again, with like Master Your Life was the business. Yeah. If somebody said to me, well, Luke, define Master Your Life to me, what does it mean? Yeah. And I had people ask me that and I go,
yeah, of course.
Didn't know the answer. Yeah. And I was like, shit. I was like, oh my God.
How do you define it?
How do you define it? And then obviously for me, when you was talking earlier about the Master Your Time thing is I thought, well, Master Your Life sounds great. Yeah. But what's the first step? Time. Yeah. What's the first step? So for me, time has not been, because obviously we know in the world that there's two problems that people want more of. Yeah. It's either time or money. Yeah. For me, my life's never been around money. Like obviously, you want the money as the tool. You want it for the freedom or the tool for that. But my life, and I did an exercise which I've done it with my clients, and I recommend anybody who's in the creative space to do it.
We're getting inside tips here now. So
listen. Well, it's something that
we'll charge us later.
I'll invoice you after this. Is map out your life's journey. Like go back through time and actually look at the directions that you went, the experiences that you tried didn't work, or things that did work. Yeah. And what I realized is that I got such a buzz off time. Not because everybody today's in time debt, they're not time rich. So because everyone's like working more than they've contracted to work, everyone's burnt out, everyone's stressed, everyone's just trying to please people all the time. So for me, when I did football, it was time. It was time off. When I worked on cruise ships and I hit my sales targets, well, they couldn't give me more money because there's obviously the head office. So what they did is they banked my hours up. So they say, look, you can have those, or you can put that to your half day and have a full day off. So for me, I thought, well, I think that's going to be the key to unlock this program, that people can have the master your time. Yeah. So build this dream life, dream business, but use time as the tool, the mechanism, and then it be that then they can define what master their life is. I'm not going to say what it is. They can create it. Yeah. See what I mean?
Would you say that of all the stuff you've done, even though I know obviously you're incredibly passionate about everything you've done,
of course.
Would you say that this is the most aligned you've been with?
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
The funny, as you were talking about previously when you were working crazy hours, you were like, oh, I had no time. I was really busy. I had no time. And everything you were talking about has led you to where you are now. Like you're now the person you needed when you were a PT.
Correct.
And I think if you're going to coach, work with somebody, it's amazing if they've got the answers. But if they can actually say, I've quite literally been where you've been.
Yeah.
Resonates a lot more, doesn't it? Yeah. It goes back to that authentic content. I think we spoke about it in episode 2 or 3. Keep getting them mixed up.
I lost that though, Cal. I lost authenticity. So I didn't know who I was. That's why the business failed. And business fails anyway. I mean,
it's same for me. When I went to Bali and was coaching, I lost it all. Right. I was like, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know why I was doing it anymore. And I got back in.
Purpose,
me and Sam had a conversation, didn't we? And I really enjoyed the whole media side of it. We was filming each other in the gym, had mics on, just chatting away like this, having good like bannerous conversations. I was like, why don't I do this for other people? Like if I genuinely enjoy, I needed somebody to look after the media side for me when I was away. And I never had that, but I was always filming for myself anyway. And I was like, that gap I had was missing. I know I can give that other people. And now this business has been created, and I filled that gap. And the fulfillment I feel right now is unbelievable. Like I can help a lot of people because I know that I've been there. The struggles of creating content and being a content creator, and having the setup. I mean, right now you can't see guys, but behind the camera, Luke does have someone here collecting content and getting some behind the scenes stuff. You'll probably see a photo of Ollie as well. And it's very difficult, isn't it? I think to fill that gap inside of a business. Now you outsource this stuff now.
Of course.
How much of your creative inside of your business do you outsource right now?
So for me, this is again. So Ollie's very recent, by the way. So he literally started Monday.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So for me, there was So me,
welcome.
I know. Welcome to So Ollie's been working with us anyway on a fitness side of things, and obviously he's kind of recently graduated from university and stuff, and he's started his own podcast and stuff like that. Cool. Actually called Beyond the Artist. Would you believe? And mine's Beyond the Boardroom. So I think there's a bit of synergy right there. But so I saw something in him that I thought, do you know what? He deserves a chance, but let's come to an agreement. So for him, obviously being somebody who's looking for a job role and no, come on, we know that if you've got no experience on your resume and stuff like that, it finds it really hard to kind of break through. Yeah. But I outsource it because I know what I'm great at. Yeah. So this is what you've got to get really clear on as well, is that when I didn't know who I was, I didn't also know what I was great at because my mind was just whizzing. Yeah. So I had no space to actually think and create. Yeah. What I've done with Master Your Time is this is the crazy thing about it, and obviously you guys will know this being very creative yourself, is you could say I'm a master of winging it. In a way. Yeah. So everything that I've done in terms of the community that I've built up, the trainings that I deliver, and actually the coaching conversations that I have with my clients and the workshops I deliver, nobody has plugged that in for me. And do you know what? That is such a great feeling.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, because I've been so used to somebody plugging me in with templates, or somebody saying, hey, listen, I've got 1,000 templates. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, if it's $9.99 or something, or 20 quid, it might be great just to give you a bit of inspo if you like going, I don't know what content to create. But for me, I just had to come away from that. Yeah. I needed to get away from that noise and just create. And then what I started looking at is I started road mapping. So I did my life's journey. So I mapped out my life's journey. And then I looked at mapping out my business journey. Yeah. So I got them to marry up, and I was looking at and going, okay, so Luke, what am I great at? What's my unique ability? Well, I've been podcasting. There you go. We'll have to get you guys, we'll have to have a three-way combo. That'd be cool. Absolutely. I had a lot of people say to me, Luke, you've got this energy about you. You're really good at talking. You're really good at talking. You're great in front of the camera. So I thought, I'm not really doing that. Yeah. But also at the same time, you'll know this, trying to post content across a lot of different platforms. There's different audiences. It's really hard. So I've just very much repurposed it. So I would just, and I'd do it via email, all this. So I thought to myself, there's a gap. And I always say this to people, especially in my space, who would be my first hire? Videographer. Content manager. His role is content creator role. We've got clear on that. The second for me would be a PA. Right? The third, I don't know what that would be, but they're the two main hires that I would have. Get a chef in. That'd be good. Or like a massage therapist or something.
I think
you know what I mean?
For me, definitely.
But so
people get it so wrong. I think I'm the same though. I at the minute don't know what I want to outsource or what I'm great at. I'm kind of like winging it. I'm like I'm having a go at something and I'm realizing pretty quick that actually, right, okay, someone else needs to look after that. I haven't got the time or energy or hours to put into it, but I'm really good at learning something in depth very fast.
Of course.
So all this kit, all the mics, all the cameras and stuff like that, if I put a little bit of time into it, I get it pretty much straight away. I'm very fast. You say this a lot, don't you? Yeah. It's like I throw a dart at bullseye and I can do it again and again and again. I wish I was that consistent actually. I'd make a lot of money, but but it's the same concept of like throwing that dart.
Of course.
And a lot of the times I miss, and that's the things that I need to start outsourcing. And again, my business.
There's a couple of things as well. Is something to cycle back to that I think it's brilliant to say from anyone looking to start a business, whether you're, especially like if you're an online coach, because we've all been in the position where we've created a program, we've done a launch, we've done an offer, and you've done the graphics, you've got everything, all the templates that you think like, God, when 50 people sign up for this, it'll be seamless, it'll flow, it'll bang, and you get nothing.
Zero.
And it flops. And you're like, it's so disheartening.
Done it.
Yeah, and I've done it no end of times. And I'd comfortably say, honestly, I would say when I've done launches of offers and programs, I'd say my hit to fail rate is way outweighed in the fail. Like when they hit, they hit. When they don't, they don't. But I think it's really good when people can be open enough and honest enough, because I think sometimes, especially with social media, everyone's so big on publicising the wins, they never talk about the fails.
I know.
So if you can turn around and say, God, I put 10 grand into something,
Yeah.
you know what? It didn't work out. But I know why. I know it wasn't going to be right for me long term. It's important that people hear that, because people can then look at someone like yourself who's doing well and go, God, he did that and he still managed to make a go of it, rather than just, I've done one offer, it flopped, I'll quit. You know, or like we discussed earlier,
overcoming,
like I've had periods where my engagement has been like to the point where it's like, what is even the point of me creating stuff? But you don't stop, you just carry on, and you find what works for you.
Yeah. No, I like that. I mean, I could share multiple experiences where I've had agencies grow my Instagram, all fake followers, thousands of dollars. I've had to scrap 2 Instagrams. But again, I fell into the instant gratification trap. The same thing with the launches. Like I say, look, in 2022, I spent 65 grand on the business. My profit margin was terrible in comparison to 2023 and I earned less. So, people can say they're making these 6-7 figures, but are the numbers matching up? So what I'm talking about is, for me, if I was to start a business all over again, what I'd do is just give myself space to learn, flop, fail hard, and fail forward.
Let's go into that. I think so you're saying, well, you start a business again, you give yourself space to learn, etc. Give us, starting a business, kind of your top 3 tips you go into. If you was to, like, nobody knew you, you're moved to a new town, we want to start a new business, you've got the ideas, you're struggling to get it at creative.
New business, Luke's Burritos.
Luke's Burritos.
What we started with.
Just keep it plain and simple, mate. No sauce. No, I'm joking. Calories less. But no, the main thing first thing I'd focus on is just have your idea, and start sharing your idea.
Clear idea, like
just
in terms of who you're pitching it, like an avatar, like an ICO, or like an idea in terms of what you want the picture to look like.
So talk about it. Just talk to as many people as you get. So if you're in a position where you've got a job, you've got a pay packet, no pressure. Take the pressure off. Everyone's too much pressure of like, it's got to be right before I start talking to people. Just go and talk to people. Share the idea. So you could be sitting in a bar, sit with friends, say, hey, do you know what? I've got this idea. It's been something I've been working on. Is it all right if I just share it with you?
There's an old saying, isn't there, where like business are built on tissue paper in the bar with a pen. Yeah,
well, there was something I read in a book called The Prosperous Coach, and it was a guy. It was the artist's name, I don't know, but anyway, he drew something on a piece of tissue paper, and someone went, oh my God, that looks an amazing drawing. Can I have that? And he went, it'll be $20,000.
Oh yes,
Picasso, I can't remember who it was, but anyway, the $20,000 it was, and she turned around, wow, why is it that much? He went, because that's my life's work.
So this, you've just seen me do this in 5 minutes. It's actually took me 50 years to
Correct.
do it. You're paying 20 grand for that.
So the first thing is just share the idea, right? The second thing then is actually ask somebody if they would be interested in that. I think, again, I
kind of warrant the business before you start it. So like,
see if anyone would be willing to exchange money. Like, would that be a solution to a problem that you've got? And would you pay? And if they go, oh my God, just say, well, what would you be willing to pay for it? And you're just somebody who sat there just chilling. There's no pressure. No. And if they go, God, I'd pay hundreds for that. Say, okay. So what about if we were to work together on that? Would that be something? Would you be and say, I'm not asking for hundreds. Maybe we could look at a bit of an exchange where it's a lot less, because obviously you're the first person I'll be working with, and see what they think. I think that people in today's world are scared to have a conversation.
So like, social media is great, right? It creates these so many opportunities, but when you put someone face to face now, and like people would rather message that coffee shop and on Instagram and say, have you got a job, than go in with a CV. I can remember going in multiple places with a CV, asking for a job or opportunities. Now, you do it online, you do it Indeed, you do it. No one goes face to face anymore.
Well, it's the joke, isn't it? When you get someone's house and they message you, I'm here. Well, knock on my door.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Don't text me here. Come and knock on my door. Like,
literally.
Everyone is so like focused on the screen.
Talk about a lot, don't we? Our socials are great for the business, so great for that type of stuff and showing your highlights and stuff like that. But it's actually just killing conversation.
It is. It's now becoming very hard to articulate what it is you want to do. But also, if you're somebody that is building this business or brand, that you're getting lost in what you're trying to build because you're not having conversations or talking about it. So the first thing is the idea. The second thing, there's a 3-step process that I work with. So idea, test, expand. So the idea is the idea. The testing is actually asking people if they'd be interested. Because what is the point? What is the point in just building it up, spending money on it, or not even spending money on it? Just time invested, and then it just flops. That's what I did with Master Your Life,
right?
And then the expand part is then being able to go into networks. So again, find events, find people that are going to be people that are building already what you're already trying to build, right? So then have conversation with them, see what they're doing. And do you know what? You're networking. Your network's your net worth. You start finding those people, and then do you know what?
Makes me feel a little bit like you said that, because like when I first started this, and then I did a little bit for Sam, I actually reached out to a fitness event and just said, can I come and film for free for the day? Like, can I be on the dance floor and like let me film some athletes like at a CrossFit event? And I went to that, and there was already 2 people there earning a full-time income, doing the job. I learned so much and got a lot more followers, a lot more engagement. I got clients just from one, talking. I spoke to Sam, had the idea, and then going to that event to network and expand has built me to where I am now.
Yeah, but you see,
and that was like 6 months ago.
Well, there you go then. So you see that. See, for me, that's all through the experiences where when you're talking about earlier about the whole templates or everything done. I'll never forget, and I'll always remember this. I say this to people I work with, and just anybody who's starting a business is. I can remember that when I had a Christmas break, it was like, people have Christmas break off shut down, don't they? Obviously, factories and stuff.
Nothing.
It's like before it was though, because she wasn't going to be like technically in the group for 2 weeks, they gave you a 30-day social media content pipeline for January, and it was all laid out what you could talk about. Wow. And the reality is don't get me wrong, like, for any business owner or fitness or whatever, you'd be like, oh, thank God, because I wouldn't know what to talk about when I get in January because I've just had a 2 weeks break. My head would be a bit moshy because I'm just like chilling or whatever. But do you know what? I did it. So as in, I followed this route. It was like week 1 would be solely about relationship building. So talk about yourself and let people know who you are. Yeah. Second week would be value-based content. Yeah. So then that would be ultimately about adding value, like maybe, I don't know, not like 3 tips on how to build muscle, but it might be stuff like similar to that. Yeah. The third week would be testimonial transformation template week. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
then the fourth week, because everyone gets paid, sales week. Yeah. Push hard, man. Stretch it for 7 days. Copy and
a big sales funnel for January. Yeah.
Massively, but but that would be the actual flow, the system, the framework for the whole year. Yeah. And this is the difference, right? So
that was per month. So that started in January, but you'd do that template February, March.
Correct. Yeah. So the mentorship basically would coach you on that. Yeah. And the reality is. Then you'd see it online, and look, I've seen coaches, like all the coaches, I forgot, I'm looking for 5 people, blah, blah, blah. It's like, get over it. Just focus on your own business. But the other thing as well is that's because that was the answer. That was the solution. So you're there going, and do you know what? It works. Like some people in the group were going, I've got all these clients and stuff like that. Do you know what? Did it work for me? No. Why? Because it's not what, I'm not... Because what I didn't realise at the time is like, Luke, listen, mate, you're not in it to drive all this money and sales. Remember what got you into the industry in the first place. Results were
just like the templates was almost blocking you mentally.
But I felt like it was because I saw what people was achieving. Yeah. I thought, well, if it's working for them, it's got to work for me.
Yeah, and it's never the case. A lot of time, it is not the case, is it?
And the thing is, you see, like,
blueprints.
I was in the mentorship as well, and like
too many.
And it can be quite disheartening when. Because from a mentorship point of view, they can go, look, I've given you all the tools. This works. Because look at the 5 guys there that are earning 10 grand a month or 15 grand a month. And you can feel like you're implementing everything the same way. You're using not even so much even using the templates. You're doing it in your own way, but you're doing like they used to do like push-pull months in the one I was in. So obviously the pullback would be the pullback from sales. And it'd be more lifestyle content. Then you push, like you're pushing.
By the way, can I just film you do it now? Right? Like, why was I so slow at getting that? Ollie just like struggling through the line. I was like the commitment to get the angle. Then I was like, we needed that.
Don't get
injured. And it can be quite disheartening because you think you're doing everything everyone else is doing, but like, why isn't it banging for me? I think it's because you get so lost in following a process that in theory works that you lose.
How would you get over that mentally? What would be like I was in a room with people and there's this mentor and he's coaching 10 people and 9 of them are smashing it, 15, 20 grand a month, doing whatever they're supposing, right? And you're sat there going, struggling to make 2.
Yeah, of course.
But 2 to you might be amazing. You might have come off £1,000 part-time job, but you've doubled your income. It's amazing. How do you put yourself in a room and then get over the kind of the feeling of like, I'm not creating my business?
It's hard. I think
it is hard
again because when you're in a group and all you're seeing is posts where, because again the group is no different to social media. Yeah. you would get a few where people would be quite honest, where they'd go, look, actually, I'm having a really bad time of it. But you could be in a mentorship of say 100 people, and you've got the same 10 people putting their amazing wins because they're doing really good. They're good coaches. It's good content, and they're engaging, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. That means there's 90 other people that may be middling, they may be killing it but not posting it, or they might be struggling. And there are people, and there were definitely people, and I would always post if I was having a bad month, if I was struggling. So I think you need to try and just remove yourself from it as you would do with social media, and realise that
to give yourself that space, like you said.
It's like if you're trying to compare yourself from a physique point of view, the top physiques make it to Instagram. So don't compare yourself to those physiques because it's going to knock your confidence. Whereas in reality, not everyone looks like that. I mean, they don't look like that most of the time anyway. So it's the same thing as when you see the same 10 people killing it, you go, that's such a small sample size of my competition, effectively, that they're effectively the 6-pack and abs. From a physique point of view.
I get it.
The other thing I want to double down quickly on then is, so could you sit back now, and obviously you spoke about Master Your Life didn't happen the way you wanted it to.
Yeah.
Could you sit back now and go, it didn't work for, other than, like you said, when someone said to you, like, what is Master Your Life? And you're a bit like, ugh.
Yeah.
Do you think that was the catalyst for it not working, or could you pinpoint why it didn't go the way you wanted it to?
Yeah, because it was rushed.
Right.
So, I mean, I got drones flying out. I went into a field, did the whole shebang. Like, you could look at it from the outside and go, oh, my God, this guy's killing this launch.
Yeah.
But behind the actual scenes, it really failed. We was in a place, where both me and Abby had gone online. We both had a great month. And then it just flopped. And then, fast forward 2023, Abby's pregnant.
Yeah.
Get the house on the market. Life just goes completely, acceleration speed. Panic kicks in, obviously. There were loads of stuff going on behind the scenes, which nobody would ever know.
Yeah.
But it just, I was in a very bad place because there was obviously pressure financially in terms of thinking, well, the house on the market, it crashed. Then it was like, Abby's going to, give birth. We're going to have a child. Obviously, everybody's like, oh, they're expensive, They're not actually that bad, to be fair. But still, you have all this fear. And I think for me, I just was lost and going, well, I love coaching.
Yeah.
I even considered going back to the gym floor. Yeah. I thought, I know I can do that. It's easy, or not easy, but then again, it's not easy to build a client base from the ground up, whatever gym you go to, even if people know you as a PT. But at the same time, it was much of, there was nothing drawing me back.
Yeah.
So my body and mind wasn't wanting to go back there.
Yeah.
It's as though like I left it, and I left it for a reason.
Yeah.
But then the Master Your Time stuff and the Master Your Life is like, this is again what's really hard today in the world of coaching and people looking at it from the outside is, well, what is it?
Yeah.
It's simply what I've said right at the beginning. It's like, look, I'm here to help you build your dream life and dream business. And I relate it back to my footballing days.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine when I was at football, I had a manager, right? So you could have a manager. I had an assistant manager. I had a warm-up coach. I had a nutritionist. I had a strength and conditioning coach. I had a lot of people. I had 3 physios. We had a massage. So think about that. How many pairs of eyes are actually overlooking you as a player in that team to optimize your performance, to optimize your recovery, to help you become the best footballer that you can be. So guess what? I'm like that, but I'm not saying to people that I'm working with, go, oh, by the way, you've got to spend all money on this. I fell into that mindset when I was saying earlier, when I spent all that money on all those people. It's like, start with one, whether it's a coach or whether it's a content creator or whether it's whoever it is. But one thing that I really, really love doing with people I work with and why I'm doing what I'm doing now is I love holding space. So I love the free flow element, i.e. the podcast, same thing. Same with people I work with now. It's not about me.
No.
And it's not about me telling you what to do. It's about me helping you know what you want to do and know to do and extracting it so it's clear for you. That's it. And that's where it's come from. And now for me, it's really focused on, again, creation. I mean, gosh, I've even got a masteryourlife.coach page, a creative coach. I've even got that name on there because I love like what you guys do as well is the whole creative element.
Pressure works 2 ways, doesn't it? So you had all that external pressure in terms of you wanted to find a new business to kind of support your family
100%.
To like, okay, the coaching's not going so well, or for whatever reason you're out of love with that now. And so pressure works 2 ways. It can either force you into doing something that's not going to work, or like you've done it way too quick. Like you said, you've got all the drones and everything up, but rushed because you had this external pressure. That can make a business or you creatively go down, or the pressure can push you to quit the job, start the business that you want, like build something from the ground up. So it's funny you say that because pressure experience myself, works two ways.
Yeah,
Either
it
you get
does.
so all that external pressure and noise, and it's like, I've got to do this, man. Like people are saying this, that, and the other. You rush to get it out, and then it's like, now what? But then you've got the other type of pressures, like, I don't like my job. I need to get out of this. I want to build a business. I want to put that Instagram post out, but I'm not sure how to display the message and etc. So yeah, it's nice that you.
And the thing is, I remember speaking to you when I was in engineering before I'd gone into coaching, and I remember you and I was saying, it's just not for me, but I'm desperate to get started. You're like, mate, just go all in. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. I'm desperate to go all in, mate. But I was like, I've got kids, I've got a mortgage, I've got a certain figure as worst case scenario I need each month.
Yeah.
And as we know, you start out as a PT, even if you get like 3 months rent or whatever, you might say, I mean, when I first became a PT, I had 6 weeks of just sat saying hello to everyone that came in.
I know.
You know, before you get your client base up.
Walk into that treadmill. Are you reaching your goals?
Yeah, this is it. Like you're desperate to start, but it's difficult when you've not got that capital behind you.
No, I get that.
So obviously, like you were saying, if you've got a job, it's best if you can start at least laying the seeds.
Of course.
While you've got that income, so you've got that little bit of freedom that if it does flop, so what?
Yeah.
Because if you try and you fail when it's all on you and there's nothing else coming in, what next?
Yeah, I think as well with that though, like something that I really love doing now, even myself, you know, I said about checking it, like you do you do client check-ins, whatever. Like actually checking with yourself, like checking with your time. So do a time audit, checking with energy, do an energy audit,
self-evaluation.
Just keep checking in with yourself. We don't do it. We just live on a rat racing world of go,
Go to bed with all these thoughts. Don't write them down. Don't clear your head. Wake up and in a rush again.
Eat, work, sleep, repeat. You know, one holiday a year, $28.
What? You get a holiday?
Yeah, one holiday.
Someone's doing well.
But it's more than that, mate. 3, hopefully. But yeah, so you know, it's all that stuff. But just about the creativity, mate. I was. It's funny because a guy said this to me. Who I went to a retreat with. He went, "Are you creatively constipated?" I was like, "Yeah, I think I am." I mean, I literally am not constipated, but I'm creatively constipated, as in because I didn't know.
You see, we spoke about this a while ago, and that is one thing that I've, especially like it was.
What's the magic pill for that one, Luke?
Yeah.
Laxative.
It's one thing I've always been a little bit complacent with, is because I've never struggled to make content, even though like my original content was nothing like I'm doing now, and it was just very, I think we said before, it was just like statement of like, you know, do the work.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That means nothing. But even now, I don't struggle making content, but I can feel myself when I'm getting lazy with it and I'm just reacting and I'm thinking, I haven't posted anything today. I'll just dig through a photo, write some copy out.
Yeah.
And I can feel myself when it just becomes, it's still fitnessy content, but it is just that, it's just fitness content. It's not me.
Time and place for that though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think time and place to dig deep and to use kind of all your energy to put that focus out or that sale or that pitch. But actually the low energy stuff you can learn a lot from.
Yeah. But then also I can always tell when I've put effort into my content because I get much better engagement. Yeah. It's like people can tell when you've just...
Oh, that's good. You know your audience now. You kind of understand what goes on.
Yeah. Right.
Amazing. Yeah, I think we'll start finishing up there.
Awesome.
Luke, to finish off, where can people find you? Where can we go to see what you're all about?
Plug us in.
Plug
Go
us.
on, lads.
Where are you?
So honestly, all over social media, just put in my name, Luke Beastall. It'll come up with masteryourlife.coach. Also website www.master-your-life.co.uk, which I'm sure will be in the show notes.
We'll link it. Yeah, show notes and description.
Yeah. Sound.
Amazing. Well, first of all, thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Hopefully you've enjoyed this one, guys. A little bit of a different podcast. We've kind of dived into a person who's created multiple businesses, found himself in the position that he is now through a lot of trial and error, and hopefully it's resonated with you as we all want it to. Let us know what you think. Leave it in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, or head over to our Instagram. We'll put a post on there of all of us, but get in the comments there as well. So thank you very much for watching.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well.
Amazing.
Cheers,
Luke.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We're on the phone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.